Hi,
Hey, John, how are you doing?
pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. It's an honor to speak with you. I don't know if you know, but this interview came about in a kind of unconventional way. On your Facebook fan page, and I was one of the winners of the contest for De Ame Quererte that was run about a
Oh,
month ago. And
okay.
I mentioned to Team Secada that I write for
Right.
this blog critic site where we do a lot of
Oh, all right, brother. No,
features. So
thank you.
yeah,
That's great.
you're
Thanks.
welcome. So to start with, your new album, Otra Vez, this is your, I believe, eighth Spanish language album.
Right.
So can you tell me what's the story behind this record and also the company that you're doing it with?
Yeah, I haven't done a pop Spanish CD in a while, so for me that's big story enough to, to I guess put this record together means a lot to have a song in the radio that is a pop song, and in Spanish well, my career started in both languages, but to do it in Spanish and in light of kind of the career that I've had, my bilingual career means a lot
Mm-hmm.
to put this kind of record together. And I've done definitely more recordings in English and in Spanish than this one. To do a pop record just in Spanish is something that I've been thinking about for a while. I've been doing a lot of work in the Latin market in the last few years, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to kind of, get back to my Latin fans, and that's the reason that I did it.
Tell me a little bit about your beginnings on this earth, like being raised in Havana. What stands out in your mind about the experience?
I don't remember much about Cuba, honestly. What I
Okay.
know, it's my life here, living in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Miami. I'm a Hispanic American, and very proud of my traditions and my roots. But I grew up uh, in an environment that is very, very Latino. At the same time, I was just always drawn and moved to American music and American pop culture, and so that was always my thing. But at the same time, I grew up speaking Spanish, so for me, that will always be something that, and it has been something that's a big part of my career, and it will
Mm-hmm.
continue to be. And I love it. I love the fact that I've had a career in both languages as a result of that, um, um, and uh, um, and when I first got signed to do records, and when I studied music, everything, even though everything was at the beginning was Anglo oriented, at the same time um, I always did stuff in Spanish too.
And you mentioned your studies of music, and most of us think of you as a pop singer, but it's interesting to note that you have a master's in jazz vocal performance. So I was
Yeah.
curious, what sparked your interest in jazz? And I know you've done some recording in that style to some degree, but how did you kind of fall into that style of music?
Um, I wanted to study music. I mean, I wanted to be prepared to do whatever came my way as a musician, and that was my thing since day one.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a result of my wanting to do that, um, the I guess the most direct connection that I could find attached to popular music dealt with studying jazz, and that's the reason that I just decided to study jazz music, and it's been great. I love education. It's been a big part of my career,
Mm-hmm.
and it continues to be. So for me, I will always credit everything that I've done and the kind of musician that I am is because, of course, I mean, I went to school and I studied it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and to this day, I love the fact that it's definitely a part of my career.
And one of your very first recordings was in that jazz mode, which was the song "Wishes," which originally you did with Ricardo Martinez, and I know you had remade on your Expressions album a couple years ago. So that was kind of cool to see. I guess a song from your beginnings kind of coming full circle. Because I'm looking at here, I have the 45 in front of me of "Love with a Smile" and "Wishes." So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to see the evolution from there. Now, when you did come out and you had, it seemed like to me at least when you did actually come out for the first time on a major label, Just Another Day obviously made a big impact in a lot of ways. do you remember the process as being something that it just seemed really instant, or did it seem like kind of a slow growth, like as far as the actual record coming out, or how do you remember feeling as a solo artist kind of coming out in the mainstream?
I worked for 5 years before my first CD came out, so
mm-hmm.
it was I was a part of a team. I was part of a production team, writing songs, and always with the intention that one day, maybe I would have my chance to be a solo artist, but not necessarily. I was so attached to just doing my thing as a musician, and because that's the way that I was raised, and
mm-hmm. So you were prepared for it.
Yeah, I was raised here in Miami and to do my thing, and to this day I still feel the same way. And then it would be, I guess, before I noticed, then yeah, you're right. Then I had my first record, but it just came as an evolution of everything that.
Yeah.
The work that I was doing at the time, and working with these guys that I knew from college, and
that's pretty cool.
And then they got their own breaks attached to working with Gloria, and then
and working with you as well. Mm-hmm.
Got my opportunity, and just kind of things evolved in the right way.
And so you did a new version of Just Another Day on this album. So tell me about that, and how would you describe it?
Well, the new version of Just Another Day is just kind of a little reminder of really a new dance version to kind of remind everybody, since it's been a while since I've been to the radio,
mm-hmm.
how it all started for me. And really all started with that song.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the idea of my production partner to kind of just kind of bring people up to speed as to what I'm all about as an artist, and how it all started, and it all started with that song. So,
what do you think it is about the song that's made such a monumental impact from its initial release up till now?
I don't know. I got lucky.
Okay.
I just got lucky. It was one of those things. You feel like you write the song that a song that is good, but you never know until people hear it, and if they dig it, or not. And the synergy was, it worked out.
Uh-huh.
Thank God that it was a song that it worked out. That the record company liked that. I guess it had the substance to be a good song, and
mm-hmm.
and it ended up being a big hit for me. And so
and one that can cross a lot of boundaries and genres, which is hard to achieve that a lot. Tell me about a couple of the songs on Otra Vez. And my comprehension of them is somewhat limited since I'm not a Spanish speaker, but a few songs that stood out to me. One of them was Un Sueño Nada Más. So
right.
Can you tell me about the significance of that song and what?
Yeah, Un Sueño Nada Más I wrote with a writer that I haven't worked with in the past that much, Drago, and one of my longtime producers that I've done a lot of work with, Randy Barlow, and he actually he had a hand just about in every song in the CD.
Okay, cool.
But with those guys, I wrote this song, and again, just a song that pop song, and like everything else, it came about through conversations, hanging out, and just try to put what we thought was a really good idea, good melodic idea with a good lyric, and to expand on it. And
what is the basic storyline of the song?
It's the kind of the connection that you have with somebody at the same time that maybe there's an element in the relationship that's missing.
Okay.
And then maybe it's still a part of your dreams, but it's not completely fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you really cannot live without this person. So you want this person in your life, but there's still an element that is still just a dream
mm-hmm.
before the relationship is completely.
You had mentioned a minute ago, you had alluded to rather your stage work, and it's been interesting to see at different times in your career you've had stints on Broadway with Grease first, I think, and then Cabaret, and I think even more recently with Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So I was just curious, how did you break into that sector of the business, and what part of your artistic vision does it fulfill to do that kind of work?